Hello everyone, welcome to another video. If you're new, my name is Joanna Wilson. Today we are going to be talking about how you can get on the right path, be pushing towards achieving what you've always wanted to achieve in your life in 5 steps. Now that is a big promise for a 10 to 15 minute video, and I will start by saying this is something that I am endeavouring to explore, and I'm still on a journey in exploring myself, but I feel like I have compounded a lot of knowledge in the last 10 years about myself, about goal setting, about paving a path in the life that you want to live and you want to create. And I'm at a point now where I'd quite like to start sharing it with people. I'm not completely there myself, I'm learning every single day, but I'm definitely a lot further down the tracks than people who've not really thought about setting goals, the reasons behind the things that they're doing, etc, etc. So if I can pass on any wisdom to you today, then that would be an absolute honour in this video. Like I said, we've got 5 steps and they are sequential, so they do follow on from one another, and I'll go through each of them in turn. Got a couple of notes to refer to on my phone as we're talking through them. But I think that the reason I've laid them out in the order that I have is to basically get your mind to go through a process of beginning, middle and end, if that makes sense. So step number 1, and the place we're going to start, is where are you at right now? What is that starting position? Who are you? Where are you at, and where are all the different areas in your life at? And actually, self-reflection, being step 1, is something that is extremely difficult to do. It is not very comfortable to sit down and ask yourself where you are at in your life in various different areas, because you're probably not going to be happy with some of the different areas of your life and where you're at. But if we're gonna start paving a path to push and move towards anywhere in the future, we have to draw a line in the sand and understand, what is my starting point? Where am I at today? If today is day 1, what does that look like? Getting a real understanding of your current position. And I would recommend doing this in a couple of different ways. I think definitely have a Google of some self-reflection questions that you need to ask yourself to get a really honest and open discussion with you about who you are. I think what's helped me in the past is to split my life down into different areas. So to think about my personal life, my relationships, my health and well-being, my career, my mental health versus my physical health. Think about the different areas of your life and rate them out of 10. Ask yourself where you're at. Ask yourself if you could be at a certain level in the future, where would that be and what is the starting point right now. But step 1 is to have a good old self-reflection, which, like I said, feels uncomfortable. My biggest top tip for anyone out there who's going to embark on a self-reflection is honesty. Honesty with yourself is crucial. Nobody else needs to know about this. See it, look at it, be involved in it if that's not what you want, but you have to have an honest conversation and picture with yourself as to where you're at. Another thing that then could build on this, if you are feeling confident enough, is to ask people around you in a personal perspective and people around you in a professional perspective. Asking them where you're at. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the things that you shine through as being really strong and independent at, versus what are the things that you need a little bit more help with? Ask yourself those questions, but sometimes it can be really useful to ask people around you those questions as well. If we take it a layer down then to step 2, this next question that I want you to think about and answer is, who am I? Wow, I'm going really deep and in there with the questions to begin with, but I think once we've figured out our starting point, our next place to come in understanding who we are, what we want to do, where we want to be, is that question, who am I? And for this, I want you to move anything that's achievement based, that's goal based, that's things that you want to do, see, experience to one side, and I want you to solely focus on personality, the person you want to be, deep down in the core. How do you want to live and show up day to day in your life? So in this, what I want us to start to get a grasp and an understanding of is the characteristics that we are displaying, and again, whether or not we're happy with where we're at with those, and then thinking about that person that we would like to be, that we would like to embody, that we would like to develop into, and what characteristics and behaviours that person displays. Now, a really good way of doing this is thinking about people that inspire you, so role models, whether it's people that you know or you don't know. But if you think somebody is a really, really great person, and it's not about the things that they're doing or achieving, it's just like deep in their core, they are a great person, I would start asking yourself, what is it that those sort of people do that make them so great? And is there anything that I'm not doing or I want to be doing in my life to start becoming a similar type of person? Now, I'm not asking you to be anyone else. The beauty of this is you get to decide who you want to be and the characteristics you want to have and the behaviours that you want to portray. But having a little look at the people around you that you think are awesome and trying to pull out some of their characteristics and behaviours is a really good starting point for you to understand and identify with who you want to be. Another thing that I would do in this as well is basically do a reflection of an amazing version of you, or a time where you feel you were at your best, and then maybe a time where you weren't so much at your best. And think about, again, the characteristics and the behaviours that you were putting out into the world in both of those stages. Write them down and start to build almost a portfolio of things that you want to do in order to be the person that you aspire to be. Now, this level, I think, is really important because it's almost the soil and the foundation of everything you then build upon it. I don't think that we can go on to achieve the things that we want to achieve without the underlying foundations of just being what we deem to be a good person. We deem to be the person that we want to be. So step 2, who am I? Which follows the self-reflection of our starting point in step 1. Step 3 then of understanding who we are, where we want to go and what we want to achieve. Now we start to pull in those achievements, those materialistic things, those goals, those things that we want to see, things that we want to do, things that we want to experience. I often have a different approach to this than other people. I like to cast my net really wide and then hone in. So I basically want to go, screw it. In the entirety of my life, what do I want to do? Who do I want to meet beyond, say, somebody I want to meet at some point in my life? But what do I want to do? What are the things that I want to achieve in all areas of my life, with no time limits, with no craze limits? I'm known for saying crazy things and saying I want to achieve crazy things. I like to start with that net cast wide because it helps you be creative, it helps you dream, it helps you basically get an understanding and an idea of the different areas of your life that are important to you and you do want to push forward and strive towards achieving things in. And I think sometimes if you've never thought about this sort of stuff, to just go, woo, let's go crazy and just brain dump onto a page everything you want to do, then it starts to, by accident, build different areas and themes for you that are important for you to be working towards. So that would be my step 3, is basically go, nothing is off the table, everything is possible, anything is possible. What do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? Do it. And then after we've cast that really, really wide net, I want us to start to bring it in a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And you can do this in time. So you can go, right, whole lifetime, okay, now 5 years, okay, now 1 year, okay, now 6 months. Or you could do it in different areas. You could go my whole life, okay, now we're going to think about my health and well-being. Cool. Within that, we're going to think about my strength and hone it in that way. But basically, once we've got that wide net area and we've brought it in and in and in, it starts to become really clear what's important to us and where in our path we start to kind of go down and move. So yeah, that's my next one. Step 3 is what do we want to achieve? Start wide and then hone it, hone it, hone it in. Step number 4. We've thought about where we're starting point. We've thought about the person that we want to be. We've thought about the things that that person wants to do. We now need to think about why we want to do those things. And that's when we can start to marry up the person, the achievement, the why, to then actually setting the goals. Your why is completely specific to you, but everybody has to have a driving force to be doing the things they want to do in order to achieve the things that they want to achieve. Why are you doing it? Why? Think about that. Think about every single layer of the things that you want to do. Pick one of those things that you did in step 3. But cool, I want to be a scuba diver. Why? Because I think it'd be cool to see fish in the ocean. Why? Because that's something I've not had the opportunity to do before. Why? Challenge yourself. Every single layer, bring it down. Why? To our core values. Simon Sinek talks lots about why. He's got 2 fantastic books which I thoroughly recommend. Find Your Why and Start With Why. And he starts to talk about people's personal why statements or mission statements, and I would encourage everybody to start to think about what that might be. The format that he uses is 2 blank so that blank. Within those things, it's 2 and whatever the contribution is, so that, and whatever the impact is. I want you to really think about what is important to you, what are your values as a person, and in line with the things that you want to achieve, why do you want to do that? What is the contribution to doing that, and what impact does it have? If we don't have a why attached to the things that we want to do, it's just going to be so less motivating. Yeah? The number 1 question I get asked is how do you stay motivated, and it's because I link everything I'm doing to the reason I'm doing it. So on those days when you're working for 13 hours or nothing's going right, you can go, this is bigger than today. This whole thing is bigger than today because I've got a really, really strong why for what I'm doing and what I'm working towards. We've got our starting point. We've figured out the type of person we want to be. And we've figured out what things that type of person wants to do and achieve. We've now added to that the contribution that's going to make and the impact. We've added our why we want to achieve those things. The last thing we're going to do then, before you can start skyrocketing towards that life that you've always thought about but didn't know how to break it down simply, is setting those goals. It's linking all of those 4 things that we've just gone through in order to put something tangible together to work on. So taking our starting point and the person we want to be, the things that we want to do, why we want to do it, and setting realistic goals that we are going to achieve in order to do that, basically. SMART is obviously one of the biggest goal framework, and I agree with SMART, to be honest. It's really important to set specific goals that we can achieve and that have an end date to them as well. Goals, in my opinion, should be measurable, yeah, and they should be time bound. So it should be something that we can measure, and it should be to be achieved by when. That, for me, is what defines a goal. But it is so much more than that. It embodies everything that we've already spoken about. And in my opinion, they need to be set in positive language. They need to be outcome focused rather than action focused. So it's not what are you going to do, it's what you're going to achieve. Setting goals like that is really, really important. We need to be able to distinguish between goals and also just between tasks and projects that we're working on in our day-to-day life. A task and a project is not a goal. You will do tasks and you will do projects on the way to achieving your goal, which relates to that whole outcome versus action focus. But One of the fundamental things that I want you to also think about is linking that goal, that thing that's measurable and time bound, that relates to all of those things that we've spoken about, to a dream. Linking it to a dream and also linking it to a plan. So a goal without a plan is just a wish is one of my favourite quotes ever. Loads of people set goals, loads of people do not distinguish how they're going to reach them. So your goal has to align with a plan in order to get there, but it also has to align with a dream. The goal is the thing that we measure and is time bound and is the thing that we're going to do. The dream, it's the moment, it's the emotion, it's when it happens, it's putting yourself in the shoes of that person who wins the national championship, or who gets the grades, or who gets that promotion at work. The goal is to do that thing. The dream is everything around what it's like when it happens. And if you can start linking your goals to your dreams, you will be unstoppable, because they become 10 times as inspirational, as motivating as anything. You want to achieve those when we can link the tangible thing that's measured and that links towards what we want to achieve, who we want to be, why we want to do it, to the emotional thing, the moment, the dream, the thing that we've always thought about and we continue to think about. So that's it. 5 steps to becoming that person you've always wanted to be. Have a starting point, figure out the person you want to be, think about the things that you want to achieve, think about why you want to achieve them, and then go about setting goals. Link your goals to plans, but also link them to dreams. On the 1st of September 2023, I'm going to be launching a program called Just Work On You, and everything that I've just spoken about is going to formulate week 1 of this 6-week program. It's going to be action focused, so I'm going to give you all the theory, but I'm also going to take you along step by step of all the things that you need to do for each of those 5 stages to start to become that person. Put the date in your diary, you are not going to want to miss it. If you've enjoyed this type of content, please let me know, because it's something a little bit different for this channel, but it was a video that I really wanted to make. Thank you, keep smashing it, buy the t-shirts, buy the organisation products and get the date in the diary for the 1st of September. Anything is possible if you just work. Bye!